I'm Robert Ochoa, and I know I was gonna, I know I said I was gonna wait. I wasn't gonna do any more top 10s for a while, but because Halloween is, coming up, and I love Halloween and everything about it, I thought I would do something special for you guys out there. But it's not really a horror subject, but it does land in the genre of horror, and that is my top 10 splatter films. Once again, top 10 splatter films that I own, that I have, and that I've watched. So, let's talk about splatter films. What is a splatter film? Well, I looked it up, and everybody kind of says splatter films are just movies that are over the top, gory, and bloody. Really just, ugh. Night of the Living Dead was supposed to be one of the first splatter films ever made. Maybe for its time, yes. But I think now there's plenty of other splatter films out there that are just way better. And in my opinion, I believe, and this is what I believe, and you can disagree with me or not, but I believe that splatter films are movies that have a lot of fake blood, a lot of gore, and really go over the top and just are way out there. I mean, there's blood splattering all over the place. But I also feel that splatter films shouldn't have CGI in them. At least, not a lot of CGI. Because I know there are some films out there, but the blood is all CGI and it looks kind of fake. Especially those, like, shark movies that come on the Sci-Fi Channel, where you could just totally tell. It's like CGI blood going all over the place. It's not even really landing on anything. And then all of a sudden, someone just throws, like, a cup of blood on the actor's face. And it's like, oh, look, that's the blood from the shark. No, when I talk about splatter films, I'm talking about real people getting covered in fake blood, and just really gory, disgusting films that are just masses of meat and blood. That's all it is. Sometimes. Other times it's not. But anyways, I got some good splatter films here, 10 of them. I'm a big splatter film fan, so I got some good ones here. I tried to mix them around a bit, but a lot of the splatter films that I have come from Japan. Japanese are really good at making splatter films. But I went looking through my library and I dug out some good ones that I feel that everybody should watch. And if you're a splatter film fan like I am, then you should definitely pick these up. Coming in at number 10, it is The Janitor. Yeah, this was a weird movie that I picked up because it was only $1 at a Fry's Electronics store. And on the back it shows girls dancing in their underwear. So I picked it up, and really weird story about a janitor who wants to do better with his life, but at the same time he's a murderer. And this movie's not to be taken seriously. It's actually a comedy, and there's some silly scenes in it, and the story's kind of silly, and there's this whole romantic thing that never plays through. Good movie, definitely a lot of gore, a lot of blood, and Lloyd Kaufman, who is the founder of Troma's in this, so you can already tell. If I say he's in it, then you can kind of get an idea of what the movie's like, because it almost is like a Troma film, but it's not. So it's definitely a good one. Pick it up. At number 9 here, we have Gore, Wallace in Wonderland. Now, you're probably wondering, Gore? Gore is actually a heavy metal band, but they have this really cool, I don't want to say gimmick, but they have this cool theater art, I don't know how to explain it. Anyways, the band is supposed to be the space gladiators from outer space. I just totally... Anyways, the thing is that they've crash landed here on Earth. Their manager, who is a pimp slash drug dealer, Sleazy P. Martini, found them, gave them instruments and crack, and made them the greatest band in the world. So their only object is to get off Earth and go back into outer space, because they have to go find their master. I'm a big fan of Gore, and this is why I own this movie. And we could talk a lot about it. I could go on forever. But I picked this movie, and they have several of them, but I picked this one because this is the one that really fits the movie criteria. Some of the other movies that I own, they they slash like live concert scenes with the movie, and some of the other movies are just their concerts. They're not actually a movie, but it's just a concert, a live concert all the way through. But they do live theater during their concerts. So there's this whole act and there's this whole story, and they play the songs as they go along. Another reason why I picked this is because this is probably one of the bloodiest movies that they have that I've made. So it's about gore, and well, bear with me here. It's about gore. What happens is the lead singer gets his penis cut off, and now they try to get the penis back. So Gore goes to New York to make a music video, and when that happens, the Morality Squad, which is another group of characters that are all good guys, show up and try to put a stop to them. And Oderus Urungus, the lead singer, gets his penis back. Right, this is kind of weird already. Well, the penis is also known as the cuttlefish of Cthulhu, and it's actually alive. It looks like this weird alien fish thing. This movie's very bloody. There's blood going all over the place. There's a lot of penises and boobies, and it's really low budget, but it's kind of fun to watch. So definitely pick this up. And if you're a fan of gore or heavy metal, you'll like this too, because they actually play the music while they're fighting and stuff like that. So it's really good. Then we have Robo Geisha. Yeah, Robo Geisha. This movie is actually okay, but the one thing, I shouldn't have put it so high on the list. The reason is because that there's CGI, and there's CGI blood, but there's also a lot of real blood too. This movie's extreme. It's really weird to talk about. I always get lost in the story, because they hired this girl, but I guess she's supposed to end up killing her grandma, but she ends up doing good. I don't know. All I know is they take a girl, they make her to a cyborg. She kills people in weird ways. There's a bunch of other weird sideboards. There's swords slashing and ninja stars and all this weird stuff going on, but a lot of fake blood, and it's pretty cool. Of course, if we're talking about trauma, we can't leave out every trauma. We can't talk about every trauma movie, but we can talk about probably one of the greatest trauma movies ever made, and that's The Toxic Avenger 4, Citizen Toxie. Hands down, this is what a real good splatter film is all about. If none of you are familiar with The Toxic Avenger, you just have to watch it. I really can't explain it, especially this is part 4. The reason why I picked part 4 is because although part 1 is a really good movie, it's set back in the 80s, and the gore isn't that great. It's not that... you can tell it's fake. Wait, what about the other two? Well, Toxic Avenger 2 and 3 are really bad movies. Extremely bad. Even this movie, in the beginning of the intro, puts those movies down. It says, in 1980-something, Toxic Avenger was made, and then there was 2 crummy sequels, but this is the real sequel. If you don't know anything about the Toxic Avenger is a good guy, but he's a hideously deformed person with superhuman strength and size. Did I say that right? I probably did it. There's going to be a lot of trauma fans getting mad at me for this. Anyways, he ends up getting sent to a parallel dimension where everything's evil, and his doppelganger, I finally got to use that word, gets sent to his world. So now you have a good guy in an evil world and a bad guy in a good world, and everything is just crazy. He finds his way back to fight his doppelganger, and that's probably the highlight of the film. But this movie is just insane. There's blood everywhere. There's boobs everywhere. Anybody who's familiar with trauma knows exactly what this movie's about. If you haven't seen a trauma film, I would suggest pick up The Toxic Avenger, and then pick up The Toxic Avenger 4, and pick up Sergeant Kabuki Man, NYPD, because those movies altogether are really great films by trauma. I'm not dogging on all the other trauma films, but I'm probably saying those ones might find a wider audience than the other trauma films. Next we have Machine Girl. It's a simple story. Yakuza kills a girl's family, tries to kill her, she survives. She ends up finding this weird engineer doctor guy. He puts her together with guns, and the bad guys have to do the same things. It's a splatterific film. Really it is. Story's kind of slow at first, then it gets a little bit better, And I mean, it's one of those Japanese movies that are extremely silly. There's blood flying all over the place. There's junior high ninjas. I mean, it's really out there. But the one thing I love about it is that there's blood, blood, blood. And yes, when I mean splatter film, it's like slice, they cut someone, blood just sprays everywhere. That's the kind of film this movie is. A little bit of CGI in here, not that much. Really good film. Actually, the same guy that made Robo-Geisha made this one. So, you know, if you see one, you definitely want to see the other. Next we have Hobo with the Shotgun. This is the Blu-ray edition that I got for real cheap, only like $5.99. I was really surprised to see this film. I saw the preview of it on YouTube, and it caught my attention. It was on Netflix for the longest time. I don't know why I didn't get it, but then finally I picked it up on Blu-ray, watched it. It's really good. Hardly no CGI at all. This is old school blood and gore film, just regular special effects, nothing too crazy, nothing out of the ordinary, and over the top killings. I mean, it's really good. It's a really good film. What's it about? It's about this homeless guy who shows up in a bad city where this dude runs in, he's killing everybody, so he decides, you know, to fight back and actually buys a shotgun by accident. It's during a robbery, and he buys it on accident in a pawn shop and then starts blowing away people. And he becomes a hero. The people like him. The people in charge hate him. It's a really good film if you're really into that kind of stuff. Like I said, there's a lot of blood, gore, violence, somewhat of a silly story. This movie's not to be taken serious or anything like that. This is one of those stories where you just sit back and let your brain melt as you watch it. Really surprised, though, to see a movie like this made nowadays. I think it was made either 2 years ago or a year ago. I'm not too sure when. But you really don't see a lot of movies that don't have CGI. And that's a movie that really has no CGI whatsoever. And that's what I think makes it awesome. Next we have probably one of my favorite splatter films of all time. And I just love this film. I saw it last night. That is Meatball Machine. This movie is crazy. It is awesome, and its story's wow. What this movie's about, and yes, this is another Japanese film, is aliens have landed on this planet, and what they do is that they actually connect to a human being, and they turn him into this giant mutant cyborg killing monster that's not killing other humans, but supposed to kill another one of their kind. And the reason why they do that is because they're playing a game. And each alien, after they kill their opponent, eats the other alien that's inside of it and becomes stronger. Well, this one guy who girlfriend gets possessed by one, feels guilty and tries to save her, but he's caught. And he's going to be given up to one of these machines to possess him. But it doesn't possess him all the way. He actually ends up stopping the machines from, or the alien from possessing him. And now he has control, and so does the alien. So they kind of work together. Cool costumes in this. And I just like the way this whole movie plans out. It's sort of a dark comedy. I like the intro in the beginning when the two aliens are talking to each other and they're talking about the movie. There's also a really disturbing scene with the transvestite. The whole movie is just about sex and murder, really, and it's just a good splatter film. There is a little bit of CGI in here, but not that much. Not enough where you can say, like, no, it's not my type of film. Of course, we're going to have to go with Dead or Alive, yeah? Or Dead Alive, or Brain Damage, or whatever you want to call it. Did I just call this movie Dead or Alive? God, I'm such a bad person for doing that. This is a great film made by Peter Jackson. It's a really good horror film, but it's a comedic horror film. What's it about? It's about this rat that bites his old lady, and she turns into a zombie, and she starts turning other people into zombies, and her son has to deal with everything. This movie's great. The first time I saw it was on the Independence Film Channel when it first came out. Well, the channel, that is. Years ago. I never got the name of the movie, but it was really bizarre, really good, and man, is there loads of blood. Funny thing about this movie, I heard that when it came out, that they actually gave you barf bags because this movie's so disgusting. And it is. It really is disgusting. There's this one scene where the lady's, like, arms are, like, shooting out pus and blood, and it's landing in pudding, and people are eating it. Oh, God, it's disgusting. But the blood is just awesome. The zombies are crazy, and there's a zombie baby, and there's a priest that knows kung fu. The whole movie is just wacky and wild and bloody as hell, and it's a real good movie. And anybody who likes zombies and blood, or anybody who likes just those horror comedies, this is a movie to pick up. It's really, really awesome. Did a great job here. We're coming down to the final two. Now, most of those are somewhat horror movies, but this is a splatter film that's not a horror movie at all. It's very rare that you find a splatter film that doesn't have to do with horror, but this one doesn't have to do with horror. This is an action film. A bad acting action film, bad special effects action film, but bloody and violent as hell. Alright, so we have Ricky, or Ricky O, or Ricky Ho, or the story of Ricky, or just plain old Ricky. Anyways, I think this is an Indonesian or Chinese film. I'm not too sure which one it is, but it's by a popular manga, or I don't know if it's popular manga, but it's definitely based on a manga. In the preview that I saw from another DVD, that's how I found out about this movie. It shows the characters, and then it shows, I suppose, what the characters are supposed to look like in the manga. So what's this movie about? It's about this guy who knows this special kung fu who makes him incredibly strong. And what happens is that his girlfriend ends up getting raped and tortured, which never happens in the movie, but for some reason that's what they say on the back of this here. Ends up being raped and tortured, so he goes to find the drug dealers that did this. He kills the drug dealer, and then he's thrown in jail. And it's a crazy prison because there's all these crazy dudes in there. And from the beginning, I mean, this movie is just balls to the wall nuts. There's really no reason why these people are fighting and cutting each other up, but they just do it anyways. It's hilarious. I mean, this guy goes to punch a fat guy in the stomach. He ends up putting his arm in his stomach and pulls it out, and there's blood all over the place. Another scene I like is they just tripped this guy, and randomly they tripped this guy, and there just happens to be a piece of wood with nails right there in front of him. They don't even explain how it got there. He just falls flat on it. Another scene that's funny is they want this dude to kill Ricky. He says no, so the guy like flips like a knife in front of his face, and the next thing you know, you just see like the whole lower part of his face just fall off. I mean, this movie is extremely funny to watch, and it's crazy. But definitely you should pick the movie up and watch it. They do have some good martial arts in here. They have some bad martial arts in here. They're really bad voiceovers, though. I'm not really good at Mandarin or Cantonese, so I really couldn't, watch it like that. Even with English subtitles, it's just, I don't know, it's weird. It's hilarious, though. I mean, this movie is just, it's really, really, really funny. And then finally, coming in at number 1, we have the Tokyo Gore Police. Now, this movie is really, really graphic in so many different ways. First, let me tell you about what's this movie about. So I guess somewhere in the future in Japan, because Japan is just going to have all these problems, when you kill a person, they turn into what is called an engineer, which means that they turn into like this robotic, biomechanical, humanoid monster cyborg of some sort. And usually when they get killed, whatever weapon they have, that's what becomes their main weapon when they come back to life. In one scene, this girl has a razor blade, one of those like box cutter razor blades. She gets killed, she comes back to life, and then her whole arm's a razor blade. So there's this special group of police, which are, of course, the Tokyo Gore Police, that go around and they fight these things. And And tell you what, I really don't. Okay, hold on. Let me see this. Ihia Shina. I hope I'm saying that right. Ihia Shina. Or Ina. Anyways, it's the girl from Audition. Has anybody ever seen that film, Audition? You know, that lovely movie that's beautiful, romantic, and then the last half hour you're just saying to yourself, what the fuck? Anyway, she plays the main protagonist in this film, and she's trying to figure out what's going on, and there's a link between her father's murder and the engineers. What we end up finding out is that this guy went to hell, and he made a deal with the demons, and so they gave him this little tumor key. So he finds people, puts this key inside of them, and then a tumor key grows inside of them. So when they die, they become these engineer monsters. This movie is super hardcore S&M bondage fetish type stuff. I mean, it gets really sick in some parts. The chief of the gore police has like this girl all wrapped up in leather with a gas mask, and he leads her on a chain. This one cop goes to this underground fetish party where there's just a whole lot of weird fetish, and it's probably one of my favorite scenes of the whole movie just because it's so weird and somewhat disturbing. Yeah, this movie's way out there. I mean, you get monster gun penises, you get monster hands, chainsaw, you get a fat doctor shooting out mechanical fists with a giant shotgun. I mean, this movie is just nuts. There is one scene, though, that, I don't know, I guess it's racist, but they're kind of making fun of the Chinese, and I think it's Japanese humor. I really didn't understand it. For me, there wasn't a point for that scene to be in the movie, but then again, I'm not from Japan, so maybe there was. This movie's really good. There's fake blood all over the place. The best part is where she kills a pervert who tries molesting her on a train. I mean, this movie is just awesome. There is some CGI, but just like Meatball Machine, not a lot. And it's a really good movie. I liked it a lot. Anyways, there you go. Those are my top 10 splatter films that I own. I have a lot more splatter films, just that couldn't put all of them on this list. I try to keep it at 10. Maybe I'll do another top 10 splatter films. But for right now, those are all the splatter films I have. Once again, I'd like to apologize to people if I messed up with the trauma lines and all that kind of stuff. I'm really sorry about that. I'm somewhat of a trauma fan. I'm not a big one, but I do like their movies, and I can appreciate what Lloyd Kaufman is trying to do when he says real independent movies. I promise I'm going to get back to doing my movie reviews, but I want to say that October's coming up next month, and what I want to do is I want to do the October challenge, which is you watch 31 movies each day in October. Well, hold on. You watch 31 films for each day of October, not 31 movies at once, and then you do a review on them. I don't know exactly where to go on that because I have a lot of horror movies, and some horror movies I have people haven't seen, some movies I have that people have seen. I got the main ones like Freddy Krueger and all that, but yet at the same time I have ones that probably no one knows about. And so maybe you guys could help me. If you know any really good horror movies that I should watch, that are really not big, that are not known, but that are easy to get onto, because not only do I want to watch them, but I want to build my library. That's what I really want to do, because there's a lot of people who say, well, just go on Netflix and watch them. It's not the same, though. I mean, I really want to have it in my hand. I want to collect it, so that way, when I get older, I can pass it down. Just like how I inherit some of movies like from my grandpa and stuff like that. So that's what I'm really want to do. And that's why I want the physical copies. And I know a lot of people say, well, just go online and buy them. Yeah, that could be fun too, but I'm more of the old school guy. I like going into places, looking around, finding a movie that, I want, and bringing it home and watching it. I don't like that buying in the line, waiting for like 2 weeks or whatever, finally getting the movie, watching it, and then going, But anyways, so if you guys know some good horror movies that I should pick up, that would help me a lot, and you have the rest of September to do this. Anyways, this has been another Robert Ochoa's Top 10. I hope you guys liked it, and we'll be seeing a lot more blood and gore in October. But as of right now, we're still doing the dinosaur thing, and I need to work on that too. So we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.